Welcome everybody to the final episode here in season number 1. The Nevada Wolfpack have really grown since our first game of the season versus Penn State. It's definitely been an up and down season, but I am very, very impressed by a lot of players on this team. Unfortunately, our season did end not making it to the Mountain West Conference Championship. However, we've played very well this year. We've had some defensive games where we've stepped up defensively, including in this UNLV game just last week, where we got a sack from senior, the only senior returner on the defensive line on the entire defense, in Thomas Witt. 7 wins here in 2025, up from 3 wins just a year ago and 2 straight 2-10 wins before that. But the Mountain West Conference Championship ended up being a matchup between Hawaii and Boise State, with Boise State being the heavy favorites in this game, with Maddox Matson at quarterback looking to make that transition over to the Pac-12 next year. But Hawaii starts out the game pretty quickly in this one, as they will score on the opening drive and take the 7-0 lead. But here is Maddox Matson this though, finding their open receiver right there down the right sideline all the way inside the 10. And Matson is the leader and only a sophomore for this Boise State team. We'll see if he sticks around for the long term as he walks it in for the first score of the day for Boise State. And that started some real momentum here in this championship game. Here in the second quarter, here is Matson again throwing to the tight end across the middle, and that one is caught, and it's a touchdown, and they will take the 1-score lead. But the story in this game was really the defense down the stretch. As you can see, Boise State now up by 7, a minute and a half to go in the first half, will score on the ground. That is Zaire Gaines getting in for the touchdown. And they put 21 up in the first half, and they're just not done with the domination. Here is Hawaii on offense, and this is what was happening all game long. There is a sack there in the second quarter. How about one more here in the third quarter on a 3rd and 3? And then how about one more late in the third quarter, 2nd and 9? A big-time sack right there by Jaden Virgin Morgan. That will cap off a 4-sack day for him. And then Boise State goes on to score once again and roll in this one. And how about for one more good measure, the defense coming up with the play. 4th and 7 inside of 4 minutes, and look who's getting the pressure. It's Jaden Virgil Morgan getting there for a total of 9 sacks for this defense. Just absolute domination here in the Mountain West Conference Championship, and Boise State will win their back-to-back MWC ring. So now to Nevada. We will face them in the Famous Idaho or Potato Bowl, whatever you want to call it. And we will face UTEP. And it's funny because UTEP is going to be joining the Mountain West next year. According to a lot of sources, and I think it's officially inked, they will be joining the Mountain West along with NIU. Now, we do have some tasks before getting into the offseason, and it's really going to be finding a new offensive coordinator. And I decided to look at a couple of guys who have pipelines in the West. That was a big, important thing for us. And I'm looking at Stage Wheeler along with Ricky Rain. Now, Ricky Rain comes over from Old Dominion. Now, he has the recruiter tree and tactician unlocked, and strategist as well. But I do want to dominate recruiting in the state of California, because I think that California is going to be a big pipeline for us. So I decide to go after Wheeler here. He's a level 29. He's got some motivator tree unlocked along with some recruiting as well. So he will get the offer for our OC, and we'll see if he accepts that. End of year awards. Byram Brown ends up winning the Heisman for USF. They actually went 8-4, had a decent season, and you could just see the numbers right here. And looking at the national awards as well, we did not have any All-Americans, first teamers or second teamers, but we did have a freshman All-American in Herschell Turner. So he scored 10 touchdowns on the ground. He was very, very good for us this year. I think we found a balance with the sliders. Maybe it's working in the background. I can't really tell because his meters as far as how he's recovering don't really reflect this. But I did adjust his the sliders for wear and tear recovery, and it seems like he's staying on the field a little bit longer. Now, we do have some Mountain West Conference first teamers and some second teamers and some freshman teamers. Stone Combs ends up getting first team along with Jonathan Maldonado. Herschell Turner actually gets second team in the Mountain West, which was very surprising. Amir Broussard ends up getting freshman all Mountain West, but does not make a first or second team. I was surprised to see that. Justin Rivera ends up making the freshman team as well. And then we had a couple of special teamers, Justin Wyatt and Xavier Abercrombie. Now, it's interesting because as far as their playing time, it says that they started every game, but they actually didn't. They were just special teamers. So that's something to look out for in this game. If you do want somebody to have that red shirt, do not play them on special teams. That will count as a game's played for them if you don't pay close attention to it. So let's get into our bowl game versus UTEP, the final game of season number 1. It's been quite the season so far, but this UTEP team is a little different than what we've seen in the past because they are now quarterbacked by the former 5-star prospect Malachi Nelson. Can't even get that out. I'm surprised that he did end up transferring to UTEP, but he's given them very good production, and I think this is going to catapult him to hit the portal once again and find a Power 5 team. I guess we'll have to see. But coming after him is Amir Broussard, who will be returning from injury this week. So we will have some reinforcements back here for our final bowl game. Hopefully he gets some more stats added so that can help him in the offseason progression. They have a decent running game with Herschell Wilson almost eclipsing 1,000 yards on the season, and he's got 12 touchdowns on the ground as well. But really, the offense is predicated off of Malachi Nelson's dual threat ability, along with his ability to get the ball to some receivers who may not be, Power 5 caliber. But they do have a good defensive lineman in KD Johnson, who has 11 sacks on the year. We're going to have to look out for him. So we will be playing our bowl game at Boise State Stadium. So here we go. One last game to wrap up season number 1 as we do start out on defense as they get a return back to the 20-yard line. Coach Marlon Yarbrough looking to win a bowl game for this Nevada Wolfpack for the first time in a long time. And this is a pretty even matchup on paper. We'll see if we can come away with the win. Here's the first drive here from Malachi Nelson. Here's a short throw out to the middle of the field. That one is caught by Cam Thomas, and that's Stone Combs, the junior, who is threatening to transfer as well after this final game. It's a 3rd and 7 now. Nelson throws to the right side. Edward Rambo on the coverage, and that pass was just sailed and incomplete. And 3 and out here on the opening drive as here comes Chubba Purdy back out onto the field. Benched last week, came into the game and got us a nice win. So here we go. Purdy with the first pass of the game is going to be caught by Marquise Ashley, the junior receiver, who's been getting a lot of playing time lately. 2nd and 5. Here is a handoff. This time Herschell Turner. Turner off to the races. To the 10. The 5. Touchdown. His first touch of the game will go to the house for 6. Herschell Turner, one of those guys that is going to be possibly in the transfer portal based on his performance this year. A freshman All-American, as we just got to see. And it's been a lot of fun playing with Turner. I wish there were more explosive plays from him, but he's showing that he is a big play ability running back, and he does get tackled there inside the pylon for the touchdown. So a good start here for Nevada. Here is Nelson back out onto the field. He will throw to the sideline in a circus catch, that time by their tight end, Judah Ezinwa. Inside of field goal range now, a little RPO action back to Ezinwa, who gets inside the 20 for his second catch of the game. Shotgun this time. It looks like 3 wide receivers out there on the field. Here's a handoff this time to their leading back. This is Herschell Wilson, who cannot get past big number 99, Thomas Witt, who was the hero last week versus UNLV with that final sack. But here is Nelson, though, throwing across the middle. Cam Thomas had a little bit of cushion that time by A.J. Odoms, and he will get to the 1. Here is RPO action over to the left side, and that's a touchdown by Jaylen Brown. And they will tie this ball game up, and Nelson is a dangerous quarterback. He does not need a ton of talent at receiver. He will make his teammates better. 7-7 here. Here is Herschell Turner finding some space. He's cutting in and out and picking up a first down. 2 big carries for him on his first 2 touches from scrimmage. Another RPO this time over to Marquise Ashley. A lot of room as he gets tackled at about the 30-yard line. Some big plays coming from this Nevada offense. A little bit different look here, throwing some RPOs in there. Here is Purdy again, another throw. This time it's Jace Henry, the senior tight end, playing in his last game as a Wolfpack. As now we get it to a 2nd and 5. Another throw over to Henry. This one's just short of the first down marker. And now it is 3rd and 1 at about the 8-yard line. And this is a carry and stopped here. And we're just short of the first down marker. We were hurried up to the line here. Keep Herschell Turner in the game. Hand off to Turner. Turner fighting forward. And I don't think he got it. UTEP football with the 4th down stop on that play. I'm finding in college football 26, if you do run the hurry-up offense and you want to run it there on a 4th down, it's better to go to a huddle and call the play because the defense seems very, very good when you run hurry-up. But here is Malachi Nelson. There's a nice throw, and that's a 1st down. They've been running a lot of post. It looks like post routes or maybe even digs that Malachi Nelson has been finding his targets. Here's a throw to the right side. That's another completion. And another 1st down here for this UTEP minor offense. Showing a little preview of what's to come here in the Mountain West next season. Nelson gets rid of it quickly, and another catch by Ezinwa. And he will have the 1st down to bring it to a 1st and goal. Nelson, just a great passer of the football, as you can see. One of the greater talents in all of college football. Here is a handoff this time to Wilson fighting forward, and he's tackled at the 3. 2nd and goal, 4 minutes remaining. Another RPO over to left side, making a man miss. It's going to be a touchdown. Jaden Smith has 2 touchdown passes here in the first half for Malachi Nelson. And now we find ourselves down by 7 with under 4 minutes to go. Here's a short pass out to left side. It's Jace Henry with the catch and the 1st down. Henry has really, really improved throughout this season. I'm actually very impressed by him. Here's a throw to the right side, and that's a drop. Marshawn Brown, the sophomore who might end up transferring. We'll have to see. His deal breaker is pro potential. 3rd and 9. Here's a throw to the right side. It's Nate Burleson the 2nd, and he picks up the 1st down. Great throw by Purdy, and he is 9 of 10. If it wasn't for that drop, he would be 10 of 10. That would be his best start of the season. Here's Purdy stepping up and throwing to Jace Henry again. He has a 1st down. Not the most athletic tight end, but he has 4 catches today. Turner now with the carry. He picks up the 1st. This offense has just looked different today. We are being efficient, moving the football down the field, and now we have it under a minute to go here in the first half. Here is Purdy throwing across the middle. That's Marcus Bellin who falls in backwards for the touchdown. That's only his 2nd score of the season, by the way. Marcus Bellin has pretty much been absent the entire year, it seems like, but gets involved here, falls into the end zone, and that will do it going into the 2nd half with a dead even game here. We said it was even on paper coming into this one, and I think we are living up to that bill today. 2nd half should be good. So here we go, starting out with the rock here to start the 2nd half. The sun is going down a little bit. Here's a throw to left side. That's going to be caught by Riley Langley, who has the 1st down to about the 43-yard line. Now at about the 42, here's another short throw this time, and that is caught. It's Marquise Ashley. You know, one of the things that Chubba Purdy does well is when he is on a roll, he does make accurate throws consistently. It's just when you need him to make a throw like this one into traffic, it's intercepted. Looking for Marquise Ashley, and I'm not exactly sure he ran the correct route. It looked like he was supposed to run a comeback on this one, but the double move actually didn't work at all. The cornerback didn't budge, and the cornerback had about 6 inches of height on Ashley, which did not help. So after the turnover, here is Nelson, though, with a quick throw, and that's Jalen Brown with the catch. That brings a 3rd and 7. Can we get pressure on Nelson? We have not got to him today. We run a stunt here with 5 men going after Nelson, and a deep shot will fall to the ground. So a good sequence by our D, and we get the football back here for the offense. Can we punch it in here, though? Here is Purdy now. Play action fake, throwing to an open Marcus Bellin, who's got it. He's all alone and gets to about the 35. Bellin having a big day today. 2 big catches so far in this one. Across the 50, back to the run game. Here is Turner. Turner using the quickness and picking up a gain of 9. 9 carries for 84 yards up to this point for Turner. Back to the ground game, though. Turner cutting back and finding the first down marker. 5 more carries added on to his total so far. We back it up a little bit here for a 3rd and 12. Here's a throw, and somehow Purdy throws just a lollipop in the air, and it falls to the ground, and we do have to settle for 3 here, and we will not get through. And we do have the 3-point lead here in the second half. We'll see if our defense can come up with another stop to make another 3 and out here. Handoff this time to Wilson, who has been bottled up for the most part today, and that's a nice tackle behind the line. It's now a 3rd and 5 here. Nelson gets a couple of yards back on second. Here's a throw, a quick one out to left side. It's Jaden Smith. They have a really good receiving core, in my opinion. If they're able to retain Malachi Nelson, this could be a team that could vie for a Mountain West Conference championship next year. Here's a deep shot, looking for his receiver across the middle. Malachi Nelson puts it on the money, and just like that, they're inside the red zone. What a throw away from traffic, by the way, back to the tight end in Zinwa, and he will get inside the 10. Now a 2nd and inches. Handoff this time. It's Wilson spinning and tackled at about the 1 by Justin Rivera. And we'll see if we can stuff him here at the 1. Play action, and that's a good fake and an open man. It's a touchdown, and Jaden Smith scores for the 2nd time today, and UTEP will take the lead. What a game this is, going back and forth. Here is Chubba Purdy now. Play action, buying some time, throwing over to Henry, who climbs the ladder. I'm surprised Henry is getting this much separation. It's only 5 catches for 49 yards, but this is something he hasn't displayed all season long. Here is Purdy throwing to the right side, intercepted, and Purdy throws another one to the defense. Just did not get enough air under that. He had an open man in the flats. I believe that was Marquise Ashley. Should have probably lobbed it over the quarterback. And that's just a really good play, but a very flat throw by Purdy. So here, more RPO, this time over to Jaden Smith, who's been busy today for Malachi Nelson, picking up a gain of 9. Now, can we hold them to 3 on this drive, though? This is a 3rd and 1. Wilson in the game. They usually hand it to him in these 3rd and short situations. They do. Wilson tries to juke into the hole, and he meets Amir Broussard, who is back from injury. We do get them to settle for 3, and now it is just a 7-point game. It's still a close one here. Here is Herschell Turner starting out the next drive with a carry up the middle for a gain of 3 yards. We do like to throw in some pistol in sometimes in these formations, as here is Purdy throwing to a wide open Marcus Bellin. Bellin's all alone, makes the man miss, turns on the Jets to the 10. He will score. Marcus Bellin, number 2 today. How about Marcus Bellin showing up here in his final game for the Wolfpack? And he wants to make a statement here in his final game, putting on this uniform. It's been fun to see by him. 24-24. Every quarter so far has been tied up at the end of it. And now this one could shape up to be a great 4th quarter. Malachi Nelson now with a 3rd and 10 to open the 4th. Here he throws short. This one caught, but this time it's a tackle. And it's going to be a tackle by number 24, Justin Wyatt Jr. He's a true freshman getting some playing time. Here is a terrible punt by UTEP. Marcus Bellin probably should have called a fair catch on that. But we're set up here at the 44-yard line, so very short field to go here. Kai Woods and Herschell Turner in the game. Here's a throw to the flat, and that's Jace Henry for his 6th catch on the year. That's a season high for him. Back to the run game now. Back to Turner, who fights forward for a gain of 6. So this offense has been very well balanced today. Purdy has been efficient besides those 2 INTs. And here is Turner this time. That one puts him over 100 on the game for his 13th carry. He remains in the game now. Look at the speed to the outside. He makes the man miss. He's got to do more of that. He's got to develop that in his game. I think that shifty ability definitely is going to have to really progress from a bronze. And here is another big hole. Turner will get inside the 5. And it's 1st and goal. Remember, they had a really good defensive tackle who had 11 sacks on the season. He has not been impactful as well. But here is Kai Woods walking it in from the 1. It's a touchdown. And the Nevada run game, along with the passing game today, just very well put together besides a couple of mistakes by Purdy. And now we're up by 7 with 5 minutes to go. Malachi Nelson throws across the middle. That one's caught. And once again, it's one of his favorite targets, Jaden Smith, for a big catch and run. At the 50 now. This time Nelson looks like he's changing the play at the line. We send pressure from Stone Combs. Here's a throw across the middle. It's Ezinwa again for another catch and another 1st down. Just outside the red zone now at the 21-yard line. 1st and 10. Ezinwa again. Another catch for him. 8 for 104. He has torched us today. One of our bigger concerns going into the offseason is addressing our linebackers. As here's a throw. RPO action. It's a touchdown for UTEP. Another touchdown pass from Malachi Nelson. He has been just incredible today. It's Campbell this time. And now it's a tie ball game with 3 minutes to go. Purdy now under pressure, throwing this one into traffic. It's intercepted. Right away, welcome to the Chubba Purdy experience. That was a tight window, but take a look. You know, Marquise Ashley ran a dig here and got bumped off his route, and that definitely altered the throw right there, because usually Ashley would have beat him to the spot, but because of that bump, it's an INT. So here we go, back in the red zone for UTEP. Here's another catch and another stiff arm all the way to the 1. Ezinwa having himself a career day today. Back to the ground game. Wilson. It's Amir Broussard with a couple of nice tackles getting back from injury. 2nd and goal. This time Nelson stepping up, and he will fall down at the 1. And he's going to be shaken up on this play. So he will have to come out of the game per college rules. He cannot stay in. And it's now a 3rd and goal. They bring up the backup. Here is a jet sweep touch pass to Jaden Smith. This time it's sniffed out by DJ Warnell Jr. We do get them to settle for the field goal here. Some college kickers can't make that right hash, left hash kick. But this time UTEP knocks it through. And we're down by 3 with 1:10 and 81 yards to go. Purdy runs Herschell Turner in motion for the first play of this drive. Here is Purdy throwing in a wide open Bellin. One-handed grab, making a man miss. It's the Marcus Bellin show to the 5. He's going to waste a little bit of time, but he will walk in. 3 receiving touchdowns for the senior. And look at that grab. One-handed. Really is offhand right there and snags it out of the air. What a play. 38-34, and our defense has to come up with a stop. Thomas Witt getting pressure, but Nelson with the pocket presence and his mobile ability will get it away for a 1st down, and they will call their 2nd timeout. What a play by Nelson right there. 46 seconds to go. 1st and 10 now at the 25. Pressure on Nelson. He moves again, finds his receiver, and will get out of bounds for a gain of 10. The clock stops. 2nd and inches, another short throw. This time it's caught and inbounds this time, so the clock will continue to run. 1 timeout remaining here. 33 seconds to go. There is a nice stop that time by DJ Warnell with the tackle. Gain of nothing, and that brings it to a 3rd and 9. 30 seconds to go at their own 40. Nelson under pressure, rolls, throws this one deep in double coverage, looking for a big target downfield, and it's knocked down. Edward Rambo on the deflection, and it's 4th and 9. This is the ball game. No timeouts remaining for UTEP. Nelson, we only rush 3, loads up, throws this one deep, one-on-one for A.J. Odoms on the defensive side, and he will not allow a catch as Cam Thomas will not come down with that for UTEP, and Nevada will hold on to win the Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. What a finish to this game, and a lot of offense, a lot of excitement here to end season 1. And it's just bittersweet. We get our first big victory in the postseason in this series, and we also say goodbye to the original seniors on this team, and maybe even more with the transfer portal in this game. I can't wait to see how crazy it could potentially get. But we do turn the ball over 3 times and still win this game. That is remarkable. I think that just shows what type of offensive day we had. Running the football, throwing the football. Chubba Purdy goes out with a bang, to be honest. This is what he's been doing all year. 3 touchdowns, 3 INTs. Herschell Turner, though, with a very sneaky, really good game. 17 for 119 on the national stage. I think that just sets him up to hit the transfer portal, to be honest with you. Like, he would be, at this point, it would be crazy if he did stay. But how about Marcus Bellin? 6 for 205, 3 touchdowns out of nowhere. I did not see that coming at all. And I don't know if there were a lot of busted coverages by UTEP, but there were just times when Bellin was wide open and he could not be guarded. That results in a Mountain West Conference Offensive Player of the Week and the National Offensive Player in Week 1 of the bowl weeks. Then we do find out that Stege Wheeler ends up committing as our offensive coordinator. And then how about this turn of events? Dabo Swinney ends up going to Alabama, and he agrees to that before the national championship. But nonetheless, Clemson ends up winning versus Michigan after being an 8 seed by only 7 points. What a turn of events here in college football. Dabo Swinney going to Alabama. Kalen DeBoer is out. So let's just recap this season and talk about all of the players we might have returning and their stats. So our quarterback room was honestly not that great. Chubba Purdy, I think, was the best option because he was the most mobile. AJ Bianco is technically a sophomore. He could stay, but he does have a deal breaker, which we are not meeting. So it is a possibility that he could be hitting the portal. We could lose all 4 quarterbacks potentially. But Chubba Purdy ended up throwing 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I talked about Herschell Turner a little bit before and how he might hit the transfer portal because of brand exposure. Now, one thing with him is that I think he is pretty close to actually the best he's going to be. Like, he's going to get faster. But as far as his skill set, he doesn't have many skill caps to still upgrade. So I think at this point, if we were to retain him and upgrade him, it would likely be with some of these abilities. That would kind of be what we would get to. Maybe even updating, his juke move, that tier of attributes, and then getting some abilities will probably be the best move for him. Maybe making him a bit faster, but I would really focus on abilities with his upgrades. Kai Wood scored 9 touchdowns on the game. I really hope we can retain him because he is a sophomore. I think he's a very good, capable backup running back. That could be our full-time running back if we needed him to be. And then running the football, Ashton Hayes and Caleb Ramsor. We'll see what happens with them. Ashton Hayes has been a local kid, and he's been sticking on the team the last couple of years in real life. So hopefully he returns. How about this development, though? Because of that big game Bellin just had, he ends up passing Burleson for the leading yards getter as far as receivers. But Burleson ends up with 641 and 48 receptions. 48 receptions leads our team. I'm really hoping to retain him in the portal. I know our pro potential is an F. I've seen in at least dry runs of, the off season that pro potential guys at small schools don't always transfer. So I'm hoping that is the case. Jace Henry ends up with 431 yards. That's actually 3rd on the team, which I'm very surprised at, to be honest with you. He ended up scoring 2 touchdowns as well. Marshawn Brown, who I wanted to get involved, he was a big body target. He ends up with 28 receptions for 359. He hopefully will return also. He has a deal breaker. Marquise Ashley will return, that playing time being an A+ for him. Definitely wanted to retain him because he was one of the juniors on the team that had really good speed. So I decided to use him a lot more this year, more than the seniors I had. I just thought that giving guys playing time would be definitely more beneficial than giving seniors playing time that I really won't care about in the future because they won't be on the team. Now, as far as offensive linemen, if you look at the sack numbers, we really didn't give up a ton of sacks, but we allowed a ton of pressure. And Going into the transfer portal, I'm hoping to grab some offensive linemen that can definitely help in this department, because I'm going to end up changing the playbook. I have no idea what I'm going to choose, but it's going to be some variation of the spread. I just don't know which playbook exactly, but I do want to make sure I get that all situated. And then, on the defensive side of the football, which we'll get to in a second, I really was impressed by this defense. I thought that this defense coming into this series was not very talented, especially at defensive back. And I want to speak to defensive back because we were absolutely awful this year, in my opinion. Like, we did not make any plays. I believe we only had one interception by a cornerback the entire year, which that actually happened when I was not even editing that portion of the game. And I think that was by A.J. Odoms at one point. But we did get after the quarterback sack-wise. No double-digit sack guys, but we did, have a good season from Jonathan Maldonado. It wasn't great. It was good. I do want more production from him. He's going to be going into his senior season as the starter at edge. I'm not going to be looking to replace him in the portal because I do believe in player retention and playing guys throughout and not necessarily just getting guys in the portal. So I will definitely develop him a little more. Hopefully his off-season XP allows him to develop his skills, maybe even hit 80 overall. Amir Broussard was amazing this year, a 65 overall defensive tackle. Ended up finishing the season with 5.5 sacks on the year, a couple nice tackles for loss in that bowl game. Hoping that he has a big offseason. There is a potential that some of these guys that are very productive during the year end up getting a dev trade upgrade. So I'm definitely hoping for that for some of these guys. Dylan LaBarbera is interesting. I'm not super high on LaBarbera. His sacks that he got this year were actually very sporadic. There was really no consistent pressure from him. So I'm interested to see what our options will be in the offseason, whether that's a high schooler coming in. I do think he'll be a part of the rotation. We do still have a good deal breaker grade for his play style, which is B-. So I expect him to return. But I am looking to add somebody opposite of Maldonado to add some consistent pressure. But LaBarbera was pretty good this year. Not saying he was bad, but he would have to have a big offseason in order for me to say that he is a definitive starter coming into next year. There are guys like Justin Rivera, for example. 6'5" edge rusher, did not have, this amazing season, but look at the skill caps. Like, he has so much room for growth. So if in the case where he has a big offseason, gets a lot of XP, I mean, he could potentially come into next year as maybe even a starter over somebody like LaBarbera. We'll have to see. But I think we're going to have to hit the portal hard for secondary. Both of our starting safeties, both seniors. Our number one cornerback is a senior. We have Edward Rambo, who could be hitting not free agency, but could be hitting the portal as well. And then Julius Barnes-McGee is a sophomore. We're not hitting his deal breaker. So our secondary is going to look completely different here in season number 2. So that's something to look out for. And I'm hoping that we are able to find some guys that can contribute, because that is going to be a very tough thing to replace those guys in the secondary, especially since, freshmen coming in, 3 stars, they're not going to be rated very high. So I'm definitely hoping to get some cornerbacks in the portal and then maybe even develop them through, training results and things like that, so that we can have a better secondary than we had this year. So that's going to do it here as we hop into the offseason next episode. It was a fun season 1, and I appreciate everybody putting in your walk-on recruit submissions in my community tab. There is a chance you guys will make it into the series. Can't wait to see who does make it and who makes an impact. Hope you guys enjoyed season 1. We'll be back for season 2 soon. Stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.